I'm sorry, Aurora. Your husband is going to be mine. One day, I found out that my husband was cheating on me. The other woman was none other than my young sister. I had always treated my sister, who was 1 year younger than me, like a friend. We talked about my husband and even had meals together as a trio. But why did this happen? I finally realized the situation I was in. I was the only one who didn't know anything. They had been nurturing their love behind my back. But my sister doesn't know yet that there is a secret between me and my husband. My name is Aurora Green, 30 years old. I got a job at a financial company after graduating from college, and now I'm working as a management consultant, leading a busy life. I'm not just working blindly, but I feel a sense of fulfillment in my job. I have a good welfare system and a good salary, so I would say that I have more than enough. I got married a year ago. My husband Brooks was my classmate in college, and now he works in sales. Unlike my profession, his job is to visit strangers' homes and get contracts. Of course, not all customers are nice, and some of them yell at him loudly, he says. Maybe that's why he seems to have some stress, and lately he only complains about his company. I understand that it's hard, but complaining is not a good feeling for the listener. But as a wife, I try to support him every day, hoping that he would feel a little lighter. It was on one of those days. I came home from work and started preparing dinner as usual. As I was working in the kitchen, waiting for my husband to come back, my smartphone vibrated to notify me of an incoming call. The screen showed an unregistered number. There was a possibility that it was someone I knew, so I decided to answer the phone for now. Hello? Is this Aurora Green? Yes. Who is this? This is AB Card Loan Company. We need you to pay back your loan immediately. What? Pay back? What are you talking about? Brooks Green has borrowed $50,000 from us, and with interest, it is now $70,000. We can't get in touch with Brooks, so we contacted you, the guarantor. Guarantor? Me? My husband borrowed $50,000? I never heard anything about that from him. And the repayment deadline has already passed, and now the debt has ballooned to $70,000. That's not all. He made me the guarantor of his debt. I'm also worried about the part where they said they can't get in touch with Brooks. Because he went to work as usual, and he's on his way back from the office as usual. There are too many problems to solve, and my mind is almost frozen. The agent said coldly to me, who couldn't understand the situation. If you leave the repayment as it is, the interest will keep growing. If you refuse to pay, it will soon exceed $100,000. Wait a minute. I don't know anything about this. It doesn't matter to us whether you knew or not. Your husband made you the guarantor, so we need you to pay. But at $70,000, I don't have that kind of money. If you don't pay, your husband's life is over. We ask you to pay as soon as possible. That's... The card company that my husband borrowed from seemed to be a dangerous place. A quick calculation shows that the interest is $10,000 in half a year. That's too high of an interest rate, and the agent's tone also sounds somewhat threatening. He borrowed money from such a risky place and made me the guarantor without my consent. But I can't afford to worry about that now. Since they know my name and number, I can't run away. I can't do anything until I hear from my husband. I decided to wait for him to come back for now. My husband came back 30 minutes later. I immediately confronted him and asked him for the details. Hey, I got a call from AB Card Loan earlier. What? They told me to pay back $70,000. And they said I'm the guarantor. Oh, no, well, that's... Explain yourself. I had no idea that Brooks had a debt. I'm sorry. I've been meaning to tell you, he turned pale and stuttered, looking down. I continued mercilessly. What's going on? You borrowed $50,000, right? Why did you need such a large amount of money? What did you use it for? Actually, half a year ago, a senior told me at a drinking party. I can do horse racing predictions on your smartphone, and then I hit it right away, and I got hooked. And before I knew it, I was addicted. Even if I lost, I thought, next time I'll win. You know how my salary is almost gone for living expenses, right? That's why I needed money. So you borrowed $50,000. Why such a large amount? I thought I could pay it back right away. If I win, it multiplies. So I thought I could pay back $50,000 easily. From what I heard, he only won once, by beginner's luck. And yet, he overestimated his own ability and got into horse racing. He must have hated that I found out, because he was shaking his shoulders. I felt a slight pain in my chest, but I couldn't just do nothing. I was honestly shocked when I got a call from the consumer finance company, and I was disappointed in my husband and thought about divorce. But we loved each other and got married, so I decided to try again. I decided to talk to my husband about the future for now. Brooks. There's no point in blaming you for borrowing money, or for making me the guarantor without my consent. I don't care about that now. Aurora. I'm sorry. Of course I'm not forgiving you. But we can't let the interest grow like crazy, right? Yes. I'll help you. So let's pay it off quickly, the $70,000. Oh. Aurora. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's how I decided to help my husband pay off his debt. Fortunately, I had saved a decent amount of money when I was single, and I get more than twice as much salary as my husband every month. We have to pay it back as soon as possible, so that the interest doesn't increase anymore. A few days later, I transferred a total of $70,000 from my account to the consumer finance company. In the end, I was able to pay off everything, including interest. When I told my husband about it, he muttered apologetically in a small voice. Aurora, I'm really sorry. And thank you. It's okay. It's over. It's good, right? Really, it's all thanks to you, Aurora. Don't ever do this again, okay? You said before that your salary is gone for living expenses, but I'm paying more than you, right? I only get $700 from you every month. Can you use your money within a reasonable range from now on? You know, I'm in sales, right? The quota is tough, and lately my salary has dropped a lot. That's why I couldn't save much. It seems that my husband's job depends on the number of contracts he makes. But even so, he should be getting more than $700 a month easily. I pay for all the living expenses except for the $700 he gives me. He should have enough money for entertainment without spending $50,000 on gambling. Anyway, he promised me that he would never gamble again. He deleted the horse racing app in front of me and said he would pay me back the $70,000 little by little. But it seems that my choice at that time was wrong. I realized that a few months later. After paying off the debt, we had no major problems and lived peacefully. The only thing that changed was that my husband started working overtime more often. One day, I saw his smartphone on the sofa where he was sleeping. What? What is this? There was a message from my sister, Ella, on his phone. Today was fun. I'm looking forward to our next date. From the content, it was clearly an affair. Why? Why Ella? She had always consulted me about everything like a friend. We went to various places with Brooks as a trio. This is too cruel. I immediately woke him up and confronted him with the truth. Hey, what is this? Why are you getting messages like this from Ella? Oh, no, that's... Never mind, I'm calling Ella over here now. What? Wait a minute. Don't do that. Ignoring his pleading, I called my sister. She must have sensed something from my tone, because she agreed to come right away. 30 minutes later, my sister arrived at our house. Contrary to my pale husband, my sister Ella had a relaxed expression on her face. I asked her bluntly. Ella. You know why I called you here, right? Oh, you look scary. Are you shocked that your sister had a relationship with your husband? You admit it? Of course he said he loves me more than you. What? We've been talking about it for a while. He wants to divorce you and be with me as soon as possible. Why? Why would you do that? I'm sorry. Your husband is going to be mine. Can you please break up with him quickly? I was speechless at my sister's words, who said them with a full smile. She would have a cute face if nothing had happened, but now it was nothing but a devil's smile. Do you feel the same way as Ella? When I confirmed it with my husband, he nodded silently. It seems that they had been in a relationship for over a year. A year ago was right after I got married to my husband. He often said that he had no money, because he spent it on dates with my sister. Some of the $50,000 he borrowed must have been used for her. And he got into horse racing and got into debt, and I paid it off like an idiot. Everything I did for him was meaningless. I sacrificed myself to pay off his debt for our future, and I looked like a fool. That was the moment when a dark emotion gushed out of me. He made me the guarantor of his debt without my consent, and cheated on me with my sister. You used your little salary for cheating. I can't forgive him. I'll make sure to send them both to hell. That's when I decided to divorce him for the first time. My sister must have said something to him, because he had a divorce paper ready and handed it to me. This? Please sign it. I beg you. Okay. I filled in my section and packed my things to leave. Until I left the house with the divorce paper, my sister was grinning at me. A few days later, I hired a lawyer and demanded compensation from them. I also consulted him about another thing. Soon I returned to my parents' house and started living with them. When I told them about Brooks and Ella's affair, they were furious at first, but they gradually calmed down. But I still haven't forgiven my sister. I decided to never have anything to do with her again. That day, as I was having dinner with my parents, the intercom rang. I'll go. I got up from my seat and headed to the door. When I opened it, there was Ella with a demonic expression on her face. As soon as she saw me, she shouted. Hey! What the hell? What do you want? I don't want anything to do with you. Explain yourself. Why does Brooks have no money? His savings are almost zero. So what? That's none of my business. It's all your fault. Brooks used to be so well off, but as soon as he married me, his life became miserable. According to her, she married Brooks right after I left. She had been looking forward to her newlywed life, but he had no financial leeway, and he couldn't go on dates like before. That's no surprise, since I was paying for almost all of the rent and living expenses of that house. I was able to live in a decent apartment because of my income. Now that Brooks had to pay for all of that, he had almost no money to spend. Ella couldn't stand such a poor life and came to complain to me. It was nothing but a tantrum, but it had nothing to do with me. As I was about to close the door, she changed her tone and said, "Wait a minute. Give me back the money." Huh? Money? What are you talking about? Don't play dumb. Give me back the $70,000 you borrowed from Brooks. $70,000? That's right. You borrowed $70,000 from Brooks during your marriage, right? That's why his savings are zero, I heard from him. She yelled at me, gasping for breath. I couldn't help but burst out laughing at her. What's so funny? Sorry. It's just that you have such a ridiculous misunderstanding. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Well, I didn't borrow $70,000 from him. I lent it to him. Huh? She widened her eyes and became quiet, as if her previous vigor was a lie. I told her the truth. I don't know what you heard from him, but $70,000 is the money he borrowed. I paid it back for him in one lump sum. No, you're lying. Brooks has debts, there's no way. Believe it or not, it's up to you. I've already asked a lawyer to use the right of subrogation. Right of subrogation. It's the right to claim the amount I paid instead of him. I'm going to get back $70,000 from Brooks with that. You're kidding me. He already had to pay alimony, and now this. Ella turned pale and her voice seemed to tremble. I said mercilessly to my sister, who had a look of despair on her face. Alimony? Whose fault is that? It's because you two cheated, right? You know what, you just did what you deserved by paying alimony. And yet, you blame everything on others. How much trouble do you have to cause before you're satisfied? Wait. I really can't live like this. I don't care what happens to your life. In fact, it's better for me if you suffer. You betrayed me and made fun of me, so it's only natural that you get some divine punishment. Aurora, please forgive me. I'm not your sister anymore. My family and I have cut ties with you. I don't intend to help you no matter what happens, so get out of my sight. I slammed the door and locked it, and left her screaming outside. After that, my ex-husband and sister couldn't afford to live in that apartment anymore and moved to a cheap one. They fought every day and eventually divorced. Ella, who had quit her job when she married him, was now working multiple part-time jobs. Brooks, on the other hand, had to start working double shifts to pay the $70,000 he was sued for by the right of subrogation. They were both far from a peaceful life, living from day to day. A settled life was still a long way off for them. As for me, I'm still living peacefully with my parents. My work, hobbies, and time with my father and mother are all fulfilling. A lot of things happened until the divorce, but now that everything is over, my heart is clear. From now on, I'm going to think only about my own happiness and live happily. Thank you for watching. How did you like today's story? Please subscribe to our channel. See you in the next story.